Honor Flight Houston is a national organization. We're a 100% nonprofit. We raise all the money to take these flights. In the United States, there's 130 hubs, just like us. Houston, we have about 21,000 veterans on our waiting list to go to Washington, D.C. We were founded in 2005. A gentleman took some veterans to Washington, D.C. when the World War II memorial was finally built. So it wasn't built right after these gentlemen came back from the war. And so Earl Morris in 2005 said, well, I want to take some of these World War II vets to Washington, D.C. so that they can see their memorial. To date, we've flown over 200,000 World War II veterans to Washington, D.C. We were founded here in Houston in 2013. We started our organization. Again, we're a nonprofit organization, 100% volunteer operated. It means no one on our staff gets paid. The board members, like myself, and our volunteers are not paid. We've got retired, we've got active duty, and we've got regular civilians on our staff. We are a member of the Honor Flight Network, which is, again, a nationwide organization. At Honor Flight, we know that our veterans are not asking for the recognition. However, it's our position that all veterans deserve the recognition that they get. Back in 1945, our men and women came home from the war, but they didn't get the recognition of the United States citizenry until 2005. So by that time, as we know, if we can do simple math, gentlemen and women that came home and they went to the war, they were 18, 19, 20 years old. They came home, and 50 years later, now they're in their 70s and 80s. So the need was identified because someone said, I can't go to it because I'm not well, or I don't have the money because I'm on a fixed income at 78 years old or 90 years old. So this gentleman that started, Earl Morris, who started Honor Flight Network, said, I'm going to get some private planes and I'm going to take you there as a nurse. I'll take care of you physically and I'll take care of it financially by giving you this free trip. So he took 13 people in 6 private planes. He got 6 pilots together, said, will you donate your time and your gasoline and your airplane and take these veterans to Washington, D.C. for me. So when we took these veterans back in 2006, they had such a great time. And when he came back, they continued to talk about the trip. So he said, well, why don't we make this a bigger thing? And so he got together with a gentleman in North Carolina, and then they took 100 vets. And from that point on, Honor Flight Network was born. Our top priority, unfortunately, right now is our World War II veterans because they're the oldest and they're the first ones. Honor Flight Houston has taken some Korean vets. We just took a Texas A&M Aggie Corps Cadets Korean War flight last month. So we took about 21 veterans from Korean era. Vietnam, we've also taken a couple of those at this point. However, that is mainly going to be focused on the terminally ill for that category, just because we have a lot of World War II vets that we need to get there, and we have some Korean vets that we need to start taking. Okay, as you can see from this chart right here, we had about 6 million surviving World War II vets back in 2002. Here in 2017, we're at under 1 million. And they are unfortunately passing away at a very fast rate. Some say 430, some say 680 World War II veterans pass away each day. So that's a lot. We recognize that fact, and that's why we're trying to take as many trips as we can as quickly as we can. How we do it, again, first come, first serve. You turn in an application. we get that application and we put you in that numerical order based on when you gave us your application. Again, the trip is 100% free, no charge whatsoever to our veteran. Not a dime comes out of their pocket. So, once we have your application and we've identified you that you're going on a flight, we will bring you to what's called a meet and greet. That's where you'll get together and you will talk to our medical staff, okay, to make sure that we can take care of you while you're on this 2-day event. Once the day of the flight, we'll have breakfast, and then we'll depart for Washington, D.C. on that Friday morning. We do a lot of different things in Washington. It's not always the same thing. Like the last trip, I got a chance to get us into the White House last minute. So we canceled what we were going to go do, and we went to the White House, and everybody seemed to enjoy that. We've gone to the Marine Barracks and watched the evening parade. We'll go to the Naval Museum, which is always pretty popular. And we'll pretty much do whatever we can do to show our veterans a good time. When we go on this flight, we're going to have 2 coordinators. That's usually myself and Ashley French, our chairman. We're going to have 1 head guardian who's in charge of making sure that we've got wheelchairs and water and things like that. We've got 2 medical staff. We do take a registered nurse and a paramedic. So we're prepared for any event that may happen, all the way from the most serious down to the, hey, had a little accident, need to get cleaned up and changed. So once we have gotten there, we arrive in Washington, D.C., we'll have a meet and greet. We'll get them on the bus. We'll go to either the Naval Yard or we'll go to the Marine Barracks, and then we're going to take them back to the hotel. We'll have dinner, and at dinner time is usually when you can get the stories to come out. So they'll tell stories, and then we'll put them in the bed about 9 o'clock. Day 2 begins at about 5:30 in the morning. Between 5 and 5:30 is wake up. We get them in there, we have breakfast, and then we get them on the bus because we have to be at Arlington National Cemetery at 8 o'clock so we can watch the Tomb of the Unknown change the guards. And that's always special for our veterans. So as you can see real quick, there's a lot of walking involved. All right, when we get to the National Mall, we're going to drop them off right around here. After they've toured this, they'll go all the way down the reflecting pool. They'll end up over here at Korea. Then they'll go to Lincoln. Then they'll go to Vietnam, and we'll pick them up on the other side of Vietnam. Now, that's a lot of walking for a 92, 93, 94-year-old man or woman, correct? So they have a guardian with them. Everybody has a guardian, and everybody has a wheelchair. So we try to make this trip as easy on us and as easy on our veterans as possible. Sometimes they don't like to ride in the wheelchairs, but that's when the gunnery sergeant comes in and says, sit down, you're going to need it in a minute. And they always, because that's, like I said, they can get walking down that thing and then they finally realize, I'm tired, this is a long walk, I'm glad I have a wheelchair with me. But they're allowed to walk at any time. We let them do what they want to do because they're veterans, but we do provide them with the tools to stay safe the entire trip. Just some pictures of one of our veterans and some Boy Scouts. They'll come up. All kinds of people will come up and give them thank yous and kisses and all that. Okay, so you've got the Korean and you've got the Vietnam. You can see both the memorials there. We encourage everybody to check out all the memorials. They have 2.5, 3 hours, so they have plenty of time to check it all out. Okay, then we take them to my favorite, Iwo Jima. And that's where we'll try to get a group photo. Sometimes they cooperate, sometimes they don't. So again, the cost, our veterans pay nothing. Well, how do we make this trip? Well, we make it through donations. So it takes about $38,000 to take one trip. We try to take 4 trips a year. To date, we have taken 17 trips. Our first trip did not start until 2014. So 17 flights in 3 years. We're doing okay. We're still raising the money for our next trips. We only fly in March, April, and May, and October and November. We don't go out there when it's too hot. We don't go out there when it's too cold. All right, we have the Guardians. We do make the Guardians pay half of what it cost us to take a veteran to Washington, D.C., which the cost is about $1,000 per veteran. So our Guardians pay $500, and then we make them pay for the T-shirts that they have to wear just because it's a cost that we can't keep absorbing. One of our major sponsor for airline tickets is Southwest Airlines. Frequently, they'll come up and give us 25 free tickets, which greatly helps our cost out significantly. All right, we have the parking spot. If you ever want to come out to one of our events at the Welcome Home, you can park in this parking spot for free, and that's everybody. So, and also Subway takes care of feeding these guys at the airport. We just ask that people spread the word about us. You've all seen us on TV. You may not realize it, but you've seen us on TV. We're on the news all the time when our vets come home because we want to make a big deal of it. World War II veterans, without them, we wouldn't be sitting in this great place having a great time. And that's my belief. I'm not sure what you believe. But, so we want to make sure that it's special for them. So we try to go big on everything we do. We have a big welcome home at Hobby Airport every time we come home. We try to make it a big event. We've got bagpipes. We've got the police department giving us an escort. And we've got all kinds of people standing on the side holding signs and cheering. We can use your help in identifying more veterans, World War II, Korean, and Vietnam. If you know who they are, get them to go out to our website, honorflighthouston.org, and fill out the application. You can volunteer. We've got all kinds of events that we do. We just did, believe it or not, I just spent 4 days in Galveston learning how to be a motorcycle biker. Yeah, that was rough. But we have all kinds of events that we go out and raise our money. So you can come to the Welcome Home at Hobby Airport, as I mentioned. The big thing is you can support through donations. A lot of these veterans have told us that this was a trip of a lifetime. They've never been. No one in their family took the time to say, let's go. And then we came along and we took this trip with them, and they had a great time. So they tell all their friends, and they have, and that's for us, that's all we want, is for them to have a good time.